Today I'm inviting you to come along and see what a day in Los Angeles looks like. It's Sunday, which I typically work, but making this video is a convenient excuse to take it off. So this should be fairly laid back. I'm starting today off like every day with a hike in the Hollywood Hills, but we're also gonna see the scene around town and some local businesses. Plus, we'll meet up with some folks who will share their thoughts on making LA home. If you're new here, I'm Tony Mariotti, a local realtor and founder of Ruby Home, and I make videos about beautiful Los Angeles. If you're moving to LA or across LA and have any questions, feel free to reach out anytime. Let's go. One of the things LA is famous for, rightfully so, is sunshine. And for me, that's reason enough to live here. Most days are warm and clear, and that makes getting outdoors incredibly easy. A lot of folks who don't know Los Angeles might imagine it as a concrete jungle, but that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, I hike nearly every day, and I'm not alone. Hiking is a big part of the lifestyle here. I live in Beechwood Canyon right near Griffith Park, and it has over 50 miles of trails, and it's kind of a dream if you like variety. Now, a good daily hike is about an hour loop for me. Other days I'll spend a couple hours out here, and I like switching up which trail I take because it just keeps things interesting. And today we're gonna take a shorter hike because you and I have places to go and people to see. One little odd side note first, tourists always ask me how to get to the Hollywood sign, which is not accessible by car. Some of them just want the photo op, so I tell them to go to Lake Hollywood Park. Others are geared up like they're going backpacking into the wilderness. This reminds me of when I lived in Grand Teton National Park one summer. You'd see the same mix, some people heading deep into the woods and others just trying to get the photo op and pet a bison, which, by the way, are wild animals that weigh up to 2,000 pounds and run 40 miles an hour. If you've ever wanted to know what it's like to get hit by a freight train, that's a great way to find out. Anyway, there's no shortage of good hikes here and no bison. Runyon Canyon nearby is a classic, great for people watching. I miss Temescal Canyon, it's one of my favorite hikes, but it's closed right now because of the aftermath of the Palisades fire. East of here, near Duarte and Bradbury, are the San Gabriels. They're stunning, and you might even spot a bear. Around my area, it's mostly coyotes, rabbits, deer, and the occasional bobcat. For me, hiking is grounding. I grew up in a small town in Washington State, so being out in nature is just part of who I am. You can take the boy out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the boy. That said, I also love everything that comes with big city living. Cultural events, great food, vibrant neighborhoods. And LA gives me the best of both worlds, frankly. When I lived in San Francisco, I'd run in Golden Gate Park, but getting to and from the park meant running on some rough streets. On frequent business trips to New York, I'd jog around Central Park or the Hudson River Greenway. And those areas are nice, but they're limited and it gets monotonous pretty fast. Here in LA, the variety and elevation and the views are unbeatable. And if hiking's not your jam, don't worry, there's plenty more. We've got golf courses, yoga studios, museums, parks, and even indoor options if outdoors aren't appealing to you at all. In fact, LA has more museums than any other US city. After a hike and a quick breakfast, it's time for another kind of refueling. Normally I make an Americano at home, but today I'm stepping out to get coffee from a local fave. In LA, even a cup of coffee can turn into an obsession. Before we meet up with Manish, I just need to stop in and get some coffee, and I found this place I haven't been to yet, Tectonic, which is Australian based, and it looks really good. So we're gonna pop in and see what they're all about. Great. Can I get a iced half-cap Americano?
Iced half-cap Americano.
Okay, so we just stopped into Tectonic for coffee. I'm a bit of an espresso junkie. And the thing is I started asking questions about their machine, I started asking questions about their process and their beans, and they just unloaded on me about everything and how they do it. I think she said $20,000 machine, a $5,000 grinder, and all the machines talk to each other with Bluetooth. And the point is, in LA, everything's taken to an art form to the highest degree. You can go to stores on Melrose and pick up one-of-a-kind shirts from the actual person who's doing the design work. But if you're looking for extremes about people taking anything as small as it is very seriously, LA's perfect for that. All right, this is awesome. Thank you guys.
You're welcome. Have a good rest of your day.
Now we're heading to The Grove, a uniquely Californian outdoor mall. It's next to the original farmers market, where we'll meet up with my former business partner, Manish Goyal. Manish is a successful entrepreneur in e-commerce and an independent filmmaker to boot. Quite a dynamic dude who I'm sure will share his thoughts on what LA is like. You live in a lot of different cities. Really, some of the best cities in the country.
Yes.
Fun places. Can you give me a rundown of where you lived?
A lot. So I grew up in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Went to college in Boston. I've lived in San Francisco, Austin, Texas, New York, and then back to Boston, and then finally settled in LA.
So you've obviously lived in a lot of
I
cities.
have, yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm desperate to know what makes LA different from the other places you've lived.
For me, LA is a convergence of so many things that are interesting to me.
Yeah.
So the entertainment scene is here. There's an incredible tech scene here as well.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship is vibrant. Those are the things that I've kind of wanted to do my whole life. And those are the things that have really kept me here. In addition to the fact that it's just a great city to live in. I've always enjoyed the city culture of all the cities that I've lived in.
Yeah.
LA combines that with the areas of interest for me personally. And that's what's kept me here.
I don't think a lot of people understand how much tech there is here, from aerospace and heavy tech. But then there's also things like MySpace and Snap and more consumer, like I would almost say like entertainment tech.
Sure.
I don't think people really know that about LA. So can you comment on that? Maybe even talk about like venture capital or opportunity?
There's a ton of technology in LA. LA is a consumer lifestyle hub.
Right.
As a result, many consumer brands start right here in LA. It combines entertainment with fashion, health and fitness, lifestyle, music. So a lot of consumer-facing brands are born right here in LA. So therefore, there's a lot of investment that comes to LA as a result. Now, the proximity to the Bay Area and Silicon Valley means that there's a lot of venture capital that flows into LA. And then eventually what started to happen was people from the Bay Area started to move here for a lot of the reasons that you mentioned, lifestyle, weather, right? But also a lot of the entrepreneurs that came to LA through school decided they'll just stay here and start companies instead of moving out. So now there's a massive venture capital community here in LA. In fact, I would say in terms of capital that gets deployed, it's usually Silicon Valley #1 by far, New York #2, and then LA and Boston trade places.
Yeah.
So it's right there, #3 or #4 in terms of venture capital being deployed. So there's no shortage of tech, VC, entrepreneurship right here in LA.
What do you think people most misunderstand about LA?
Every now and then, maybe I'll hear the sentiment of, oh, you live in LA. Aren't the people there superficial? Or isn't it just like really fake? Or, I don't know, it's just all highways and concrete. I mean,
Yeah, the concrete jungle bit.
right? Like, again, I don't spend a lot of time entertaining those conversations, but every now and then you'll hear something like that. And I would say that these are all just incredible misconceptions.
Yeah.
First of all, when it comes to the variety of what you can get here in terms of lifestyle, it's absolutely amazing. I don't do as much exploring as I should, but I know that you've got beaches and mountains and hiking trails and natural beauty. I was driving on Sunset one night, late at night, and I was like, is that a motorcycle coming at me? Because I saw these bright lights, and it was a deer.
Yeah.
Took my mom around all over LA one time, and we went up to Malibu, and she was blown away by the mountainous terrain. She was like, this is absolutely incredible. Can we drive here? Can we drive there? And then we would drive, and then we would look at the views of all the oceanfront properties. I mean, it was stunning. So, and that's just topology and microclimates. I mean, there's so much going on. But I want to get back to the statement about the people.
Yeah.
Because I have great friends here.
Yeah.
Great friends. People who moved here because they are trying to do something. They really believe in what they want to pursue in their lives. That's me. So I found my tribe.
Yeah, I love being around people who are stepping on the gas, just going for it.
Correct.
Like,
LA just happens to be a city that draws on people for so many different reasons.
Yeah.
So many different reasons. And that's what makes the city so vibrant, and that's what I enjoy about it.
there are as many versions of LA as there are people in LA. Like, it's really a giant Rorschach test.
Completely.
All right, Manish.
Gavin.
Thank you. I think people are going to get something out of this big time. I've been giving my perspective on my channel, but now they get to hear yours. And later today, we're going to meet with Jeff.
Yeah.
And thanks.
Hey, it was my pleasure. I hope somebody got something useful out of it. I've enjoyed LA. I really love it here. And if anybody's thinking about making the move, the best thing you can do is come out and check it out.
That was just a taste of my conversation with Manish. In the full interview, we dive deeper into what it's like building a business in LA, how the city fuels creativity, and why he never left. If you're into that kind of insight, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. In just a minute, you'll see how folks wind down and enjoy what the city has to offer at night. Evenings in LA can go 100 different ways depending on your mood. Sometimes I keep it low key, grab takeout from a neighborhood spot and unwind at home. Other times I'll meet friends for dinner. One of the best things about LA is that the food scene is as diverse as the city itself. You want a Michelin-starred tasting menu? No problem. Prefer a taco stand that's been around forever and still cash only? Also not a problem. If I'm feeling up for something a little livelier, I'll check out a concert. There's always live music, small indie venues, iconic stages like the Hollywood Bowl, or even a surprise set at a dive bar. One of the things I love about LA is that it rewards curiosity. Wander into the right place at the right time, and you just might catch something unforgettable. Next up, Tonga Hut, one of the Valley's favorites with historic roots in LA's tiki scene. It's the city's oldest surviving tiki bar, a living relic of the mid-century Polynesian pop craze that swept through Hollywood in the 1950s. Now we're gonna meet up with a friend also from the Pacific Northwest, Jeff Easton. He moved here for work, stayed for the lifestyle, and never looked back. So Jeff is a really dear friend of mine. We grew up in the Pacific. I didn't grow up with Jeff, but I met him my first year of college in the Pacific Northwest. I've known him a very long time. Tell people
Oh, right. So my name is Jeff Easton, and where I'm from Seattle originally, living in Los Angeles now for decades. And I'm a software engineer.
It's funny because we met with Manish and we were telling folks about how this is a tech town and people don't think of it like that way.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah.
But you moved here for a software engineer.
Generally, yeah. So I worked, ironically, it was sort of film related. I worked in a film warehouse where we shipped movies, the physical reels, that's how long ago it was, to the theaters. And that job was like, we want you to move down to our main office and work on the inventory software. And so I did that thinking that I might only be here a year and then probably go back and get a job at Microsoft or something like that. Yeah. And that was a long time ago.
Do you think LA takes people in or spits them out and they know kind of quickly like it's going to work or like it's destiny or it's not?
No,
okay.
I don't think so.
All right.
So my description to a lot of people is that they people like to compare New York and LA a lot.
Okay.
And one thing that I think is very different about that is in New York, you show up there and they're like, whatever, and you're either in or you're out. That's it.
Okay, you think it's a faster velocity?
It's fast. In LA, everybody is trying to kick just as much ass, except everyone's like, it's cool, man. Let's go to the beach today. I could argue that in some ways it's harder to succeed here because everyone is telling you that all of this is supposed to be easy because it's so chill. We're just hanging. There is a vibe here, and that's it. That's the vibe. That's how you live your life. And you're either in the background hustling or you're done and you're out.
So your mom was a flight attendant?
Sure, yeah.
You have been around the world.
Yeah, I've gone to a few places. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
He's being modest. You've been a lot of places.
Definitely.
How does this compare?
I don't know. I mean, it's just, it's the LA thing, the weather, that vibe that we talked about earlier about how, there's generally this sort of hangout, sort of just having a good time. Like, remember those nights we would sit out in front of your guys' place and just like drink beers and literally people walking their dogs and like having beers and we'd be like, yeah, you want one? And just like, it was just really just chill, which I'm sure there's plenty of places that have that vibe, but not a place that's like one of the biggest cities on the planet. Like, have this like really chill sort of thing. Cause like New York is awesome, right? We all love New York, but it's really intense.
Yeah, and when I lived in San Francisco, I loved the compactness because it's European.
Yeah, totally.
But that compactness, like you don't get the hills to go hiking.
Yeah.
LA's a problem because it's spread out, but it's also an advantage.
So it trips me out how big it is because, like today, we were in Whittier today.
Yeah.
I was like, I've never don't think I've ever been to Whittier. Oh, look at this nice street. Look at that restaurant, that little shop. And I'm like, I could probably spend a lifetime going and investigating and like getting, this is now my dry cleaner. And, like, and there's 1,000 of those.
Is LA fake?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I knew you were going to ask that.
Okay.
Yeah, so the response to that is, I have never been able to find these people that everyone is talking about. Yes. So, yes, of course, there are. Every city, you get more than 20 people together, and somebody's going to be kind of a... And every friend I've ever made here are, like, lifelong level friends. They're, like, some of the nicest, most sincere, greatest people that I've ever met. I either met here or actually met here and are from here.
What are some things about LA history that crosses your mind? Like, hey, this is cool.
I'll tell you one thing that is actually shocking to me, being from Seattle, the citrus thing. I've told you this story before. So one night, late night, drinking with that rock and roll crowd, just like at somebody's house, and there's no limes in the kitchen for my vodka, soda, or whatever I was drinking. And I'm like, you got no limes left? And he's like, yeah, just go in the backyard and get one. And I was like, why do you have your limes in the backyard? And he's like, from the tree.
Yeah.
And I was like, you have a lime tree? Like,
I love that.
being from the Northwest, it blew my mind. And then it was you that told me, it was like, dude, the entire valley was filled with orange trees.
Yeah, this whole...
And now I have an orange tree, a grapefruit tree, and a lemon tree in my backyard.
There's a lot more in the full interview with Jeff, like how he navigated career pivots and what's kept him in LA all these years. We'll even tap into his knowledge of LA history and its connection to tiki culture. Hit subscribe so you catch the full conversation when it drops. Today we heard different perspectives from Manish and Jeff about their LA experiences. I think it's pretty safe to say things have worked out pretty well for both of them on professional and personal levels. Aside from the professional opportunities here, there's something else that could even have a bigger impact on living the good life in LA, where you live. So check out this cautionary tale, a blunder I made when choosing where to live in Los Angeles. If you're moving to LA or you live here and you need to sell a house to move somewhere else in SoCal, my team and I would love to be your real estate resource. Just call, email, or text to get started. I'm Tony Mariotti. See you in the next video.